Hey there, friends, and welcome to One Thrive's Fresh Start Summit. I'm so honored to be here with One Thrive again to be able to share some organizing tips for you as we start this brand new year. The start of a fresh new year is usually when people get that bug to be able to declutter and organize their home, to get things out that they are sick of seeing, and to bring new functionality and new systems in. The problem is that a lot of the dreams that people have of having an organized home are regularly pushed to the side or given up on altogether and way too soon because people struggle with knowing where to start when it comes to decluttering and organizing. Hi there, my name is Kim Smith. I'm a fellow homeowner, a busy mom of three, and a professional home organizer. Although I work with women to declutter and functionally organize their homes, I also work with them on building habits for keeping clutter out of their houses altogether, especially after we take the time and get it looking and feeling exactly the way they want it to. So, in this presentation, I'd like to share some tips for keeping clutter from coming into your home this new year. And I'm going to offer you some guidance on how to declutter older items that you already own with focus and without guilt. The first clutter catching tip that I have for you is to tackle the clutter that we all hate the most, and that is paper clutter. Whether you realize it or think about it or not, paper is the thing that comes into your home every single day. Whether it's snail mail or artwork that you find in your kids' folders, there's always paper coming in. And this is probably the top thing that my clients hate the most. The buildup of paper that ends up crowding their kitchen counters and their dining room tables, the stuff that they just don't want to go through, but that unfortunately builds up and takes hours out of their lives when they finally go to tackle it. In order to stop this clutter from coming into your home, it's important to build the strategy of going through your mail straight away. The kids' homework can wait. It's still going to be there when you're done going through your paper. So the moment you come into the house, as long as there's nothing else that's a top priority that needs to get done, I'm going to encourage you to just open your mail and deal with it. A lot of the mail that comes to us is junk anyway. So it's pretty satisfying to just be able to take that junk mail and throw it right into the trash. But other pieces of paperwork that you feel like you have to look through, if you just take a couple of minutes to go through it once it comes in, you're going to save yourself a huge headache and lots of time on your weekends of having to tackle all of the paper that has accumulated throughout the week. A quick bonus tip is to keep a trash can at your paper drop zone so that you can be encouraged to throw it away immediately. It's really satisfying to be able to take that junk mail or take those ripped envelopes or take those papers that you realize you don't actually need and to drop them in the trash straight away. Trust me, if you build this habit and practice it regularly, you're not even going to realize that you do it anymore. It's just going to become part of your process of getting home from work or getting home from picking up the kids. You just get the mail, you bring it in, you go through it, you get rid of it. Another strategy for catching incoming paper is to actually not let paper come in at all. By going through your bills and choosing to automate them, putting your payment information online and setting it to a certain date that you can have it be automatically deducted from your bank account each month is probably the best way that you can go about reducing or at least significantly eliminating the amount of paper that comes into your house. And thirdly, another thing is to make sure that you can easily access and see things that you need to file. Most of us keep those important pieces of paperwork that can't be thrown away in a filing cabinet. But let's face it, these filing cabinets are not aesthetically pleasing. They're probably not sitting in your living room. So you're going to want to have an option for being able to file papers so you can easily put it in your filing cabinet when the time comes. Thankfully, OneThrive makes the perfect product for this, and it's their file organizer that comes in a couple of colors and can be added to your wall organizer. I have this in black at my house, and within it, I have file folders for each one of the family members. So any papers that I want to keep, I just pop into the labeled file, and guess what? When it's time to put it away, I could just grab it and go. Moving on from paper, I want to teach you another clutter catching tip, and that is learning the power of a grateful no thank you. Many times we find ourselves accepting unwanted items from friends or family members because they are offering them to us, and we feel guilty saying no. But you, my friend, have no responsibility to say yes to anything that someone is offering you. It is okay to say a grateful no thank you when you are being offered an item that you didn't think of purchasing yourself or that you know deep in your heart you do not want to have. When you can keep in your mind your goal of living a clutter free life, it's easier to be able to practice the grateful no thank you. There is truly nothing wrong with saying no, but thank you for offering to a friend or family member who's trying to give you something that you don't want. I practice it all of the time. And I understand that in the beginning, that guilt does sit within your heart and within your belly and within your mind. But truly, the person on the other end isn't taking it nearly as deeply as you are. When you're able to look at an item and say, no, thank you, in a grateful and kind way, there is no shame in that. And the shame shouldn't be felt by the giver or the getter. Another way that I would encourage you to practice learning the power of no is by asking the person gifting you the item to sleep on it. By giving yourself some time to think about whether or not you want the item and not having to say yes in the moment, you're able to make a decision that will sit with you better in the long run. Now, within the downloadable resource that accompanies the slideshow, you're going to find another clutter catching tip. But for the time's sake, I'm going to move on to my top tips for guilt free focused decluttering. Decluttering is a much bigger job than the word makes it sound, right? Decluttering doesn't sound like anything huge. But the moment you dive into it, you see that there's multiple steps within decluttering that tend to end up overwhelming us. So, when you dive into a decluttering project, I'm going to encourage you to think and act on these three things to make it more focused and to make sure that the things you're letting go of are done without guilt. Number one, I want you to select some rules for tossing and keeping before you even begin. When you select rules for items that you're willing to get rid of and that you know you want to keep, it really helps to eliminate the guilt and to have more decisiveness when you're going into the decluttering project. Secondly, pick a decluttering pattern. This means to select one space in the room to start with and to work your way around the room in a circle. This helps you to be able to have clear start and stop marks so that if when you need a break, you can stop and know exactly where to pick up again. Following a decluttering pattern also helps you to keep the blinders on and to keep you from being distracted by other things around you. Thirdly, when you do have your donation bags ready to go, make your donation items inconvenient. This means instead of sticking them in the garage or the trunk of your car to potentially forget about, put them in the front passenger seat of your car or in a space where you're going to see them pretty often, like next to where you buckle your kids into the vehicle. By doing this, you're going to be much more interested and encouraged to get them out of your life for good by stopping at the donation spot the next time you pass it by. By following the tips offered in the slideshow, I know that you're going to feel so much more comfortable with saying no to incoming clutter and with letting go of things that have been crowding your space as you go forward with decluttering this year. If you would like some more decluttering and organizing tips and special coupon codes for any of my upcoming programs, be sure that you head on over to my website and sign up to be on the email list. I'd also love to have you follow at A Balanced Abode NJ on social media, especially Instagram, and here you can find daily inspiration to guide you on your journey to a clutter free life. Thank you so much for being part of the Fresh Start Summit. I can't wait for you to declutter, organize, and de stress